English, so I'm going to do it in English. My name is Laurence Bourdon-Champagne. I'm working at HEC Montréal at Prolink and I'm going to present all the teams and work with the timekeepers and the other volunteers. So, first team is Serena Moreno from
Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah. Her project is Prolink Social.
Yes.
Prolink Social. And they will present their strategy to tackle youth unemployment problem through social collaboration on their IT platform.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my project to you today. My project is Prolink Social, and what we're trying to do is address youth unemployment. So this was a very interesting journey for me, because when I first started this initiative, I got some very negative comments like I've put up on this slide, where people were saying, well, you know, why should we care? It's not our problem. You know, these kids are lazy, they don't want to work. They're not really interested, they're not reliable, they're not this, they're not that, whatever. And it was actually very interesting to see all the negativity around this. But really, we do need to help, because this is all of our problem. If you look at some of the statistics, you know, since 2008, the unemployment rate is nearly doubled. There's now 300,000 unemployed youth. And our population's not that big, it's 24 million. So really, out of that, that's quite a significant number. And it's growing very rapidly. It's averaging 13.9%. And between 1991 and 2015, 8.8% of that has been long-term employment, which is really concerning, because it puts a massive strain on society, it puts a massive strain on the social network of the country, on the budget. So really, you know, this is a very concerning direction this is heading in. So really, I see this as a revving time bomb. It's getting worse, it's growing rapidly, and basically the long-term unemployed is the problem, because if you look, it's increased from 20.3% in 2008 to 34.4% in 2015. And this is causing other problems. There's some studies there by Henkel, as well as a lot of other you know, articles and papers and studies that have been done, which says that youth unemployment is linked to drugs, it's linked to family violence, to abuse, to crime, and everything else. So yes, we have a real problem. As I mentioned, you know, it puts a strain on society. So it's not just who cares about these young people that don't want to work. That those young people are affecting, you know, the entire society. They're putting a strain on our justice system, because there's more people in front of the courts. They're putting a strain on our social system, because the welfare benefits just keep growing and growing. They're putting a strain on our public services, hospitals, you know, police, and the government. So basically, the government's getting the brunt of all of this. So why is this happening? I mean, you know, there's drugs, there's suicide, there's crime, there's mental illness, there's violence. Why is all this growing so rapidly in society? Well, it's because these young people are bored, they're depressed, they're frustrated, and really it's because of the low availability in jobs. It's also the fact that the Australian population is growing so quickly. There's more competition, people are better qualified, and some parts of the actual community get very frustrated because they find it very hard to compete. There's also industries that are changing, so they need different skills. Manufacturing is disappearing out of Australia, so we have geographically a very big country. We've got different cities, and in some cities, like, you know, in Queensland or Northern Australia, it's only mining towns. And if the mine shuts there, which there's a lot of mines that are shutting down, those people have no income. So very concerning. A lot of reskilling to do, and a lot of work to get industry back into some of those places. So really, you know, like I mentioned, whose problem is this? It's really the government's problem. Because when you look at all the problems in society, who fixes it? Individuals can fix it, but really in the end, it really ends up to be the government, both as a social structure as well as a cost. So the government are doing something about it, which is fantastic. So this is the 2016-17 Australian budget. So you can see here, one of their main priorities is youth unemployment, and they have allocated $2.5 billion to this. They've put innovation funds, they've put reskilling funds, they've put internships and a whole bunch of other things to try to address this problem. Because really, like I mentioned before, this is the problem, the long term. Because if people stay out of the job force for too long, it means that either they're on welfare for 5 to 6 years, it says here, if they're out of work for more than 2 years, and some of them it's lifetime welfare dependence. So absolute concern. So what's our value proposition? Why Prolink Social? So really there's two sides of this. There's the government side. So the government has a philosophy of reskilling. So it's almost like a one-size-fits-all. We'll just chuck all this training at these people and they'll get a job, no problem. Well, no, that's not the case. These young people need a lot more help. So part of our value proposition is that we can address this, and we think that we can address it by providing a platform that provides not only the job side of it, which I'll go through in a minute, but also the societal problems, also the mental and confidence and emotional problems as well. So we're bringing together both the practical as well as the emotional side. And we're making it very easy for youth to find what they need to find. So that's why we call this a journey map. We're going to put everything in one place for them. So it's really easy for them to maneuver their way through this thing and find all the services that they need. So to the budget again, when it comes to money, you can see here, put the dots based on how much money the government's allocated. So the government has two problems. One is the mature age people. There's a lot of industries closing down, a lot of people losing their jobs, so they need to reskill the mature age individuals. But their biggest concern, as you can see here, is the youth and the education for that. So really, my value proposition to the government, because they're my main customer, is I can make this thing really easy for you. No risk to you. They've got a bucket of money. There's a lot of work to get that money, but basically we will set up the whole structure and then we will claim pieces of that money as we address the issue. So we'll have a whole bunch of training, we'll have counseling, we'll have partnerships, and really we'll be able to get the money back there. And I think it's a strong value proposition for the government, because really they're looking to industry. They've got a lot of initiatives where they're going out to industry and they're saying, what can you guys do to help? So when we look at competitors, yeah, sure, there's a lot of headhunters, like people that actually find people jobs going out, but they're not addressing this 15 to 25 year specific, part of society. There's a lot of job sites, but yes, if the kids can actually go to these job sites and find the right jobs and get the funding and everything else, no, they can't. And a lot of times they give up. There's also parents. People say, well, why can't their parents help them? Well, of course their parents can help them, but if their parents are in a position to help them, which means their parents have connections, their parents have money, their parents have the opportunity to help them. But there's a lot of kids where their parents can't help them because their parents are almost in the same position as they are, because their parents are losing their jobs and the kids don't have the new opportunities. So, there's society is very, very broad, and I'm trying to help a part of that really needs my help. And universities are putting this in place as well. Universities are offering a lot of these services, but again, I don't feel like no one's really offering this full holistic approach to addressing these issues. So if you look at the cost structure that I've put together, I believe if I had to pay for everything, I need about $350,000. Don't have $350,000. So I'm looking to get some of the software donated, to get some of the application development donated. So the development, I'm from RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia, so I've been in discussion with RMIT to get some of their IT students to help me with the platform. I've been talking to some software companies to see if I can get the software technology donated. I believe that I'm going to need about $20,000 in consultancy because my customers, the government, I need some assistance to understand how to address that, and $50,000 in fixed costs, and about $80,000 a year to pay for a DBA. All right, so what's the market cap? I believe the market cap's about $1.5 billion. And where am I trying to get money back? I'm trying to get money back as a percentage for training courses that I deliver. I'm trying to get a percentage of money for jobs that I place people in, and also partnerships with industry, apprenticeships, incubators, and so forth. So, you know, there's certainly money out there. It's just a matter of creating the structure to be able to get that return. So government's a very difficult body to deal with, and I must say I haven't dealt with government a lot. So really, you know, I mentioned before, I need to hire the consultant. I need to get relationships with all the ministers that are responsible for these initiatives, need to understand the process and put all these pieces together to be able to convince government that I'm a good partner for them. So through this process, I've gone through the different resources I'll need, and I've put some of these up here. I don't have the time to go through all of them at the moment, but I've talked to a lot of charity organisations that have different youth services to link with those guys for the youth unemployment. I've talked to a lot of organisations that handle troubled youth and violence and other things. I've talked to people that government schemes, and I've talked to training organisations as well to get my partnerships lined up. So really, this is a map of what am I trying to build. I'm trying to get something where people come into the platform, they get their options, they get the emotional and social and confidence that they need, they've got their training options, they get their funding, so they'll move through this cycle, and it'll all be on a single platform for them, which is making it very easy for them. And really, when you look at this, it's a massive job. So there's cost, there's time, there's effort, and you know, I need to decide, am I going national or state? I'd like to go national, but depending upon the funding, I may just have to start in the state of Victoria and then expand out from there. So really, the partnerships, I've already said, you know, federal and state government's going to be the most important. I've already lined up the mentors, the training organisations, the employment sites, and the other organisations that handle youth social issues. So really, in conclusion, I believe that this platform is really something that society needs, and I'm really passionate about this thing. I think that there's nothing available on the market at the moment that's actually bringing in the government side of it, the youth side, and you know, linking that together with the different companies, and actually looking at something where it's not just a training initiative, it's actually a holistic initiative. And you know, my really concern is all these kids and their mental health and suicide rates and stuff like that, but my other concern is the strain on society and what it's doing to us, because in Australia, the crime rates have increased dramatically. We never had homeless people before. Now we've got homeless people on the street. You know, there's not enough of, you know, places for people to sleep. There's not enough of food for them to eat, and this is very new to us. So it really concerns me as a society, and I really want to do something to help alleviate that. So thank you very much for your time.
All right.
Now we have 10 minutes for the question of the judges. So, Tiziana.
Thank you very much, Serena. I'd like to know about yourself. I'd like to know why you would be a good person to solve this problem. Do you have any experience about it? What's your understanding? How close are you to this problem?
Sure. So I've got an IT background. That's one of the reasons I've gone down this path, and I want to create this technology platform. I've also got a background of, software development. So really my background is more of the technology side of it. I'm probably in a different group of people in the community where I don't really know a lot of people that are out of work and trouble youth. So I really do need these social partnerships to reach the right people, to then get the feedback from them, and then build and mold this platform. I've got a lot of business contacts, so I can actually reach out to my business community and get stuff I need. I do have government contacts as well, but the youth part of it would be something that's fairly new to me, and I'm starting to learn as I've gone through the last 4 months of this.
So why did you choose to tackle this problem?
Because just looking around me, I'm just really concerned about society as a citizen, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Another question?
I don't know, are we going in order or no?
As you wish.
I'm a little bit confused as to, are you an IT platform? At one point you spoke about that you're going to be giving training programs, then you said you were going to deal with the social, but then later you switched and you said that you were going to partner with nonprofits.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
confused
so I haven't
as to
really,
what are you doing to tackle this? I understand how you're going to go around and get everyone to help, but what are you actually delivering?
Okay, so I'm creating the technology platform that's really going to map in a whole bunch of different services. So I don't intend rebuilding those services. So I'm going to really be almost like a hub, a collaborative hub. So I'm going to online.
Okay.
So I'm going to reach out to universities to put courses on there. I'm going to reach out to different like mental health counselors. I'm going to reach out to a whole bunch of different resources, like I had on my resources slide. And really, so when a young person comes in, and they will have a part as they come in to say, what are your interests? What are your skills? And it'll do an analysis for them online. Then it'll say to them, here are all your options of different careers. And they can then drill into that. What's the skills needed for that? And, and once they make a decision on, yes, this is the type of job we want, then it'll link them into, here's all the courses that are available. And there'll be university, there'll be registered training organizations, TAFEs, computer-based training, and a whole bunch of other things. So it's almost like taking them through this journey where it links them to a variety of different services. Now, through the journey, if I find there's a bit that's missing, then I'll create it or I'll help build something. But really my intention is not to do that. It's to leverage stuff that's already out there and help them map through the journey.
So it's just as a follow-up question, just so I can clearly understand what you're proposing as a value. You're going to make it a one-stop shop that you can get the information.
Yes.
But you're also speaking about almost building an algorithm to tell people where they should go look, which is two different products, I think. So I want to know how you're going to do that with 350,000.
Yeah, so the platform is like a middleware platform, right? It's a software technology, which is a middleware that links to a whole bunch of different services. Now, that's not that expensive. It's about maybe, I'm trying to get the software donated, by the way, from IBM. But if I had to buy it, you're probably talking around 50 to 150,000, depending on what I can negotiate with the number of users. Right? And then I'll have business intelligence software sitting on there as well, which is the algorithms that'll help move them into different directions depending upon where they're going with questions. So it's mostly a technology platform that's going to link up the services.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can you elaborate on your marketing strategy? I mean, I think I need to get a feedback on the supply side. I mean, why the youth would use your platform? And how
Because-
will they become aware of that exists and that
Yeah.
can resolve their problems?
Yeah, so the other social partnerships I talked about with different organisations that look after different things, homeless, mental, issues and other stuff, I intend having my platform promoting through them because they're already established out there. They've got a lot of people that they're dealing with. I want to go to them and put in flyers and go and speak and, they've got workshops and camps and whatever and promote it that way. I'm also looking for the government to help me promote this thing as well once I get that partnership established. And once I can build up enough of momentum, I'd like to go to like a television advertising campaign and stuff, but those things cost a lot of money. So initially I'm looking for it to be word of mouth through partnerships.
I see.
You said that your cost structure is about like $350,000. How are you gonna start? Can you start with less or?
Yeah, so if I can get the software donated and if I can get RMIT to do the development, then I need 160.
Okay, and so you get like 160 is a lot already.
Yeah.
Can you get them pretty easily?
It's probably not very easily, right? So I'm looking to go to the government and pitch that to the government to say, this is what I'm trying to do. The government has a whole bucket of money. So if I can do that well, then I'm hoping that the government will actually say, yes, you're one of the partners in this particular initiative, and they'll give me a funding. Like I said, it's $2.5 billion that they've allocated to youth unemployment. The hard bit is trying to have the right structure to convince them to give you some funding.
Okay.
And there's always private funding as well, but I really haven't gone down that path at the moment. I'm looking to maybe tap into the government funding. So if you guys, think, I don't know, from your collective view, if this is something that a venture capital investor would be interested in, that would be great, but, it'd be fantastic to get some private funding. But if not, my next option is to go down that public.
And I think that crowdfunding was one of the criteria to go further in the competition.
Crowdfunding, yeah.
Yeah. How much did you get?
I didn't get much, $1,150. So, and I learned a lot from it though. I think the crowdfunding that we did was, we didn't have enough of time, right? Crowdfunding, you really have to get out there and really talk to people and get your initiative known to people before you go out and say, I need some money for this. So I think if after learning through this process, I would say that, probably start 8 months ahead to try to educate people so that when I'm ready, then I've already got that network established and then I can just reach out to individuals. But we had a very short window.
Thank you.
Let's say that you get the money that you're looking for. What are the results expected from this project? Let's say after a year.
After a year, I put down some of the training, money that, So we're looking to get a percentage, and these numbers are all quite conservative, but we're looking to get a percentage of jobs that we place. So if we said 10% of an average salary of $40,000, $4,000 multiplied by 300,000 is a lot of people. But
so you'll be placing 300,000 youth.
No, I don't. This is just the total available market, right?
Right.
So
what are your expectations?
So my expectations is this will need to grow. So let's say initially if we reach 5,000 people in the first 3 months, and then that keeps doubling as people are more aware of us and our company gets better known. So I think that the build up of this thing will take I believe 2 to 3 years before you really get to a point where you become a major player in this market.
Who will pay you the 10% commission that you're speaking about your salary?
So the people, job hunters at the headhunters at the moment, I
Time's
have
up.
to stop. Yep.
Yeah,
Sorry.
thanks, sorry. So thank you very much, Serena.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Congrats.